Hey everybody, this is Travis with the Tank Life in Meridian, Mississippi, and we're about to start doing a video series on how to set up a saltwater aquarium, and we're going to touch on how to go from freshwater to saltwater. If you've kept freshwater fish in the past and you've just never had a saltwater tank, I get that question a lot at the store. People ask us, how do I go from a freshwater to a saltwater tank? And I don't want you guys to be intimidated by keeping salt water. It's actually not that difficult. There's some key things that you need to know, but in reality, it's not that much different than keeping fresh water. And while systems can be big and elaborate and expensive, they don't necessarily have to be. And the reason I'm showing what you're looking at right now, and I'm going to explain this a little more, is I wanted to show you just how simple and basic a setup can be and still be successful with saltwater. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This is a 10-gallon tank. Just a basic, everyday, run-of-the-mill 10-gallon aquarium. There's no lid or anything. And all that we have set up in the tank is a heater that I already had and a little filter that we already had that came with actually came with only a 5-gallon tank. And the only thing that we did for lighting is just a little simple, inexpensive LED light strip that we had bought for a different tank. Now let me explain a little bit more about why we have this set up, and this is not permanent. This is just a temporary little house, so don't freak out on me. But this is just to show you how simple things can be. You don't need a big elaborate system. Of course, it's nice if you can have that, but you can make it work with just the simplest things. Okay, so if you follow us, our 180-gallon tank at home, I'm sorry, a 100-gallon tank at home, not the 180, the 100-gallon tank, busted a silicone seam. So these two clownfish were in that tank, and they made their home in that little clay pot. We've always had that clay pot in the tank. And they are very territorial about their clay pot. They don't want anybody touching it. They are very meticulous about keeping it clean. They'll go down and dust it if any sand or anything gets into it. So when the tank busted, I had to pull these guys out, and I just so happened to have an extra 10-gallon tank laying around. So just like this one right here. Just a basic Aqueon 10-gallon tank. I always have a couple of these handy just in case. So I simply put the aquarium up on the counter. I took some tank water from the tank that was leaking and just threw it in here. I put a couple of pieces of small live rock that were in the tank. There's 3 pieces. Those were just some small rubble pieces that were in the tank already. I just tossed those in there. This was one of the heaters out of the tank, out of the 100-gallon. I just stuck it in there for the time being. And then I took this little simple hang-on-the-back filter that came with a 5-gallon tank. I don't have anything in here right now at the moment, but if I had some filter floss, I would just put some filter floss in there. But I didn't have any at the time. So what I did, I actually had this sponge filter. And it comes on one of these little things here, and on each side here where the little drilled holes are, the sponge. There's 2 of these sponges. They sit on each side of it just like that. They just fit right down on the top, and air connects to the little tube there, and air blows down and up through the sponge and back out the top. So anyway, I keep these in the sump just in case something like this were to happen. If I needed to set up a quarantine tank or an emergency hospital tank or something like that, these are in the tank. They're ready to go. They're already seeded with good bacteria. Now this one's dirty. I've taken this video because I actually need to clean this aquarium, but I just wanted to show this to you before I cleaned it, that this is a very simple setup and it works just fine. I pulled that sponge out. I put 1/2 of it in here. I used the other half on a different tank, but anyway, So it's just sucking up water through that sponge and then filtering back out the top. So that gives me the water movement that busts up the surface area so that the cycle can produce the nitrogen gas and come back out of the top of the tank. So by using the live rock, the sponge that was in the sump, and the water that was in the tank, this tank is already cycled. So it's just like, it's basically like I just took a 10-gallon version of the 100-gallon tank and just put it on the counter. And that's what I did. And the little clownfish are doing just fine. They've been here for over a month now. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that for inspiration, just to show you how simple of a setup a saltwater tank can be. It doesn't take anything too elaborate or expensive. Of course, I wouldn't keep them like this. They're just like this until we get our new tank set up. But they're doing just fine. And I hope this gives you some inspiration that you could set up your own saltwater tank without a whole lot of effort or expense. And just add as you go. You don't have to go drop the money all at one time on everything that you need. See, they're kind of rustling around there. But anyway, we had this pair of clowns, and we took our other fish back to the store to sell them, but we wanted to keep this pair of clowns, so we just stuck them in this 10-gallon tank for the time being. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, comment below, send us a message on Facebook, give us a phone call, and be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be posting a series again, how to set up a saltwater tank and how to answer the question, how to go from freshwater to saltwater. So just stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.